Someone give me a thumbs up. Yes, Nathan, thank you. Okay, so Carol, no, it's me who's Dorf. I can't explain to you how complicated my setup is because it's Zoom is the problem. Zoom has like built-in stuff to not allow you to do stuff like this. I suppose because they don't like people streaming live through Zoom. Anyway, I've got it all sorted. This is what's your poison? And the point of this show is it's pointless. That is the truth. It's completely pointless. Um, I started the show a couple of years ago as a radio show, and the idea is just to. I've got no agenda. Um, Kagiso's going to come at 9:30. This will actually become a podcast in a couple of weeks' time, so it'll be an audio thing. That's what it's for. It's not really meant to be streamed. Um, yeah, all we do is just drink a lot and talk shit. And what hopefully happens is you get great stories out. All these guys are like good at storytelling, but actually, drinking's the best way to get great stories. Um, I have no questions prepared, and that's pretty much what it is. And really, there is no agenda here. Um, it's just for fun for me. And if I'm going to be really honest, and it could be the whiskey talking, well, it's definitely the whiskey talking. Hello. Um, it's been fucking stressful. And I decided to bring the last for everyone in the whole world. It's been such a crazy, stressful month. I just wanted to kick back and do something really fun. And this show is really fun for me because people who wouldn't ordinarily take my call allow themselves to be interviewed. And that's pretty much what it is. Oh, there's people actually there. Unmute yourself. No sound coming through. Everyone is there. Yes. Oh, Nathan is reminding me. Thank you, Nathan. On Friday, I was fraught. I got to be honest. On Friday, we had Kagiso lined up, and um, I waited for nearly 3 hours, and I just started streaming while I was off my face, to be honest. And then Nick Rabinovitz popped in, and we did like an hour-long interview. I did look back at some of that interview, and embarrassingly, I think I did all the talking. So I'm moderating a little bit today. 2 minutes. I'm feeling really nervous because I'm a huge fan. Um, and also the shit this guy's done is bananas. I kind of know him. I've met him through and through, as we all have, like on a plane, in a bathroom, and in and around. But fuck, I don't know. I don't know what's gonna happen, and nor do you. Cheers. I hope you have a drink. This is just buying time. I came on a bit early just to make sure everything was working, and thank God I did, because thanks to you, I now know that my microphone is working. Nish says, Friday was hilarious. Loved watching you fail. Thank you, but in a nice way. I appreciate that. Just want to keep an eye on this thing on Zoom because you have to admit the person. And last time I was so pissed, I didn't admit Nick. So it was. Let me turn that off. Okay, we can all sit here together and see what happens. And if you get bored, feel free to piss off. This is for me, this one. So there. Alrighty. Where is Zoom? Cool. So yesterday, one of the problems I had on Friday is that I've been hoarding all the whiskey dregs, and then I kind of polished them all off. And then my lovely friend Carl wouldn't lend me his last inch of Woodford Reserve, but I didn't manage to find a few more little dregs lying about. I have already finished the Jack Daniels since this call started. That's not good. But anywho, alrighty, it's 7:30, 9:30. It's the daytime. Where's my man? Who did you say your guest was tonight? Are you saying that because I say it funny, or because? Oh, let me put a title on. This is another thing I've got cracking on here. 1 second. Titles, please. I want a banner, and I'd like it to say that. Hope that answers your question. Lend. What did I say? Lend. I'm not going to say it again if I say it badly and it's embarrassing, I'm afraid. Thank you, Caroline, for trying your luck on me. Kagiso Lediga. What must I say? I'm shit at this. I know that. This isn't a show. This isn't a broadcast. This is just me um, having some fun. Let's just see if he is here. Where is Zoom? Here is Zoom. Lend you whiskey. Ooh, I love him. You're shit at this. These are my 3 favorite comments of the night, and thank you. Where, oh, where is Kagiso? Ooh, nobody knows. And he's 1 minute late. Unless I haven't admitted him. But he hasn't come yet. Cool. I'll just send him a... Oh, here he is. Hold on a second. Add to the stream, please. Can you hear me? Can you hear me? Can you hear me?
I can hear you perfectly.
Motherfucker! Welcome.
How are you?
I'm doing good. How are you?
Thank you for having me. Sweet.
Third time lucky.
Yeah, it's a third time. It's the second time, man.
Second time lucky.
Second time lucky, yeah.
What have you got? Have you got something to drink? That's the most important part of this.
That's what I'm gonna get.
Okay.
Can I have 2 seconds while I fix myself a libation?
What are you gonna get? That's what I want to know. You can talk off camera.
Yeah. I'm getting a whiskey.
Oh, good.
I'm gonna get. I mean, this is illegal. I'm not even supposed to have this.
No,
right? What's the story? I mean, I guess if you bought it before.
No, I read in the news.
Oh, it's legal now.
I read in the tweets of I read in News 24 actually that the cops are not allowed to ask you where you got your illegal contraband from. It's not illegal to have it, and they can't ask you. So if you need a lawyer, I can't help you there.
But this wasn't illegal anyway. It was acquired before lockdown. It was acquired before these rules happened. So I mean, I must look for the receipt. I'll say to the officer, look at the date of this receipt.
Yeah, maybe what you should do is just put it up, put it in front of the camera, the receipt, and we'll. Oh, you've got ice. I can hear ice.
Yeah,
this is very professional.
Yeah. That's what I'm busy with. This is Japanese whiskey.
Fuck that Japanese whiskey. What's it
called?
Yeah.
This one is called Shinobu.
Shinobu. What?
This is Shinobu.
Shinobu.
Shinobu. Yeah. This one. I'll show you the bottle.
Yes, I want to see. I mean, this is the thing, and that is beautiful. The thing about the Japanese whiskey, and you can tell me I'm wrong, right? The bottles are fucking beautiful. They're Japanese whiskey, which is awesome.
Very pretty.
But they don't taste that nice actually. There's a lot of hype. I really like buying them. But they don't.
I know some of them are really great. Like the Nika and all of that. Some of them are really, really good. And also the people, because I don't know, because also they've kind of done like in a quicker way. It's like the Japanese figured out a way to chase. They figured out a way to make these things in a way that doesn't take the Scottish or the Irish the same amount of time and so on. So I'm sure there'll be some sort of shortcomings in the quick process.
No.
But some of them, the amazing parts ones are like really, really good.
They make they make everything better. Have you been to Japan before? Have you done comedy in Japan?
Yeah. No, I wanted to, but I went to just visit with my family, with my child and wife.
And when did you go?
It was really nice. 2018, I think, 2 years ago.
And what a fucking place is that?
2018. Yeah, best place we all have ever been. Like,
me as well.
It was just unbelievable.
And I'm dying to take my kid there actually, because that's the thing about that place. It's like built for kids. You never have to grow up if you live in Japan. Where were you in Tokyo?
My kid said in Tokyo. Yeah, we actually wanted to go to Kyoto and Osaka, but then we just got swallowed by Tokyo. I remember my kid going. I left him with some people in New York City. Maybe a year or so later, maybe a few months later, I left him with friends because I had like errands to run. And when I got back to him, he had been to Times Square, and I was like, "Wow, I must have been impressive. Was it amazing?" And he said, "I've been to Japan." I was like, "Okay, talk about yeah, that's very different to how I grew up." But anyway, I love Japan. I
Fuck,
love Japan.
fucking awesome. Yeah. Nice. Well, cheers to
Yeah,
you. I'm sitting with
cheers.
I've got only dregs left. So I've got tiny bit of this left, which is bullet. I don't know if you know bullet.
Oh wow, that looks nice.
I've got
I
and
haven't
then
had that.
it's
Bourbon.
really nice. And then I've got a tiny bit. I'm just trying to get through this with what I've got left over.
Oh wow, what was the other one? The second one you just showed me.
The second one, oh, this is Glen Grant. You know this one? It's quite a good one. That one.
Oh yeah, of course. I had that. I had that. I had that like because the Glenn Grant guy, I bumped into him at
What
a
do you mean?
place
What do you
and
mean you? What do you mean you
like
bumped into
the
the
sort
Glen
of
Grant
rep.
guy? Oh, the rep, not
He's like
not.
a rep. Yeah, yeah. Not Glenn Grant. I don't even know if there's a guy called Glenn Grant. But then he gave me like boxes of Glenn Grant and they were great. Like for my birthday 2 years ago, a year or so, a year and a half ago. And every time I bumped into him, he's like, "Hey, I owe you a bottle. I gotta get you something. I gotta give you something, kid. You gotta get something. You gotta get drinking." Yeah,
That is good shit though. I do like that. But the yeah,
yeah,
I definitely want to fill my shelf with the Japanese ones. I just yeah.
yeah. Those
Okay,
are really, really
I
awesome. Yeah.
I had this really dumb idea that I worked out for you and then didn't. I'm not doing it because it sucked. I wanted to do Nuit for Nuit, but with comedians. But it really sucked because it was really easy to tell who everyone was from the first second. So if
Oh, no, for notice the voices and stuff.
yeah, so like you play
Is
five
that right?
seconds of a song and you've got to name it. So I was
Yeah,
gonna
let's
do
go.
that.
Yeah, yeah, do it.
No, no,
Yeah, do it.
I was testing it on myself, and I was just like, this is so stupid because you'll get it's so obvious who Eddie Murphy and Richard Pryor
Yeah,
and
but
all this crap.
no.
So what I
Oh
did
yeah, okay,
instead,
never mind.
what I
Yeah,
did instead
I
was
thought you were gonna play like Chris Forrest and John Vlismas type of things.
I could have done that. I could have done that. What
Yeah,
I've done
I would
is,
have said, "Is that Dumiso Lindy?" And you'd be like, "No, it's not
oh, you know what
Dumiso
I could have
Lindy. It's
done?
your father."
I could have taken
Yeah,
all of Nick Rabinowitz's accents and given to you one at a one. It would have been a trick game show.
yeah, yeah. Okay, that would have been like, "Ah, is that Nick Ravinovich doing a Zulu? Ah, is that Nick Ravinovich as
You wouldn't have got it.
Desmond
You wouldn't
Tutu?"
have got it.
Uh,
So instead, we're gonna. This is really lame. It's just I'm just gonna. I've got it off the internet like a quiz. It's all American based, so I've
mhm,
added one South African one in. It's just to get the party
yeah,
started. Now, where the shit is this? You should be able to get these easily. Okay, first one.
okay.
What there was the comedian? I don't know the answers. I have to press them. It's like Who Wants to Be
Yeah,
a Millionaire except with whiskey. What comedian
yeah, yeah.
was best known for his rant on the 7 words you can't say on TV? Was it
George
Richard?
Carlin.
Okay, I'm gonna press
George
George.
Carlin.
Okay,
Yeah.
here's the game now. If you get it right, you have to drink.
Okay.
Fuck it. And me
Okay.
too. Cheers.
Cheers.
Okay. Who said this? There's no such thing as soy milk. It's just soy juice.
I don't know. Jim Gaffigan?
No,
I
I'll
don't
give you
know.
the three options: Lewis Black, Chris Rock, Ricky Gervais.
Ah, man, it's between Ricky Gervais and Louis Black. I'm gonna go with
No
Ricky.
lifelines.
I'll go with Ricky Gervais.
Ricky
I know it's
Gervais.
Louis Black.
Okay, that's the wrong answer. It was Lewis Black. But in this game,
Damn it!
you have to drink if you get it right or you get it wrong. So there's that.
Oh man, okay.
This is what comedian grossed $50 million with his stand-up concert film? Steve Martin. Well, this is an obvious and stupid one. Eddie Murphy or Richard Pryor?
Steve
Surely
Martin
that's
and Eddie Murphy.
surely it's Eddie
And
Murphy.
it's between Steve Martin and Eddie Murphy.
Okay,
No,
which
between the two of them. It's okay. I'll go with Eddie Murphy. Eddie
okay,
Murphy
it's the right
with
answer.
Delirious. Roll was the one.
Okay, second last question. This raunchy comedian made his television debut on the variety show on Broadway tonight. Andrew Dice Clay, Richard
Andrew
Pryor.
Dice Clay.
Wrong. Richard Pryor. I also thought
Richard
that was Andrew Dice
Pryor.
Clay.
Ah, damn it.
Okay, then
Yeah,
this
okay.
is a lame
Because
one.
they said raunchy.
No, that's right. That's right. They tricked you.
Yeah.
Which of these South African comedians has spent a week in jail? Loyiso Gola, Kurt Skunrad, or Trevor Noah?
A week in jail. Loiso Gola or
That's
Trevor Noah.
okay. Choose
It's
one.
between those two. I know it's between Trevor and Loiso Gola, but I'm trying to. I'll go with Trevor.
That is the correct answer.
Yeah,
Well
yeah,
done.
yeah. Just those types of people. Yeah.
No, good.
Cheers,
Good on
sir.
you. Well done.
Cheers, sir.
Okay, second game, and then we get past the games. The games are just to get us warmed up, all right? This is
Yeah.
another, probably the lamest game I've ever even thought of, because I really thought the Nerd for Nerd thing was going to be a hit, but once I was doing the practice round, I was like, this is a total fucking disaster.
It's not gonna work. Okay.
Okay,
I
so
could have. I mean, it was always, man.
here are let's do six of the lamest jokes you've ever heard, and I'm sure this will be
Oh,
easy for you.
jeez.
If you laugh at any of these, you have to drink the entire bottle.
Oh my
Uh,
God, no.
no, you won't. Or yeah, I'll make up the rules as we go. How's that? Okay, are you ready?
Do that.
What do
Yeah.
you call a hippie's wife? A Mississippi.
Oh my gosh.
What did the duck say when she bought lipstick? Put it on my bill.
Oh God.
Okay, this is quite a good one. I hate Russian dolls. They're so full of themselves.
I'm not gonna laugh.
No. Okay. Good. Good.
They're
Good.
full of
Then you do. This
themselves.
is your job.
Yeah.
What do you call a man with a rubber toe? No, I can't even answer that one. That's terrible.
No, let's hear it. I want to hear it.
Roberto. And
That's lame as fuck.
what do bees do if they need a ride? Wait
What do
at
they
the
do?
bus stop. Okay, done. That's it.
Okay,
The
that's
formalities are
that's
over.
not that's yeah. Okay, thank God. After that bus stop one and Roberto, no.
Thank you for
Sweet.
joining me. I
Thank
really
you.
appreciate it.
Thanks for having me.
I've known you a long time, but we don't know each other really. We just met each other in passing. But
Yeah, yeah. We just cheers. We just like tip of the head type of thing, like
yeah.
this. Hey man, yeah, hey man, yeah.
But what
Hey,
you've
yeah.
been doing these last few years is fucking next level, right?
Next
And
levelish, yeah, next levelish.
behind every great man,
Thanks.
there is
Yeah.
a shit ton of total fuck ups. And
Yeah,
I'm interested in this part of it because we
Oh,
all
yeah,
see
of
we all
course,
see
of
the shiny
course,
stuff,
of
but I'm
course, of
interested to
course,
know
of
like
course, of course.
what's all the what are all the
Whoa,
mistakes?
holy moly. Hurdy moly. I mean, it's only mistakes, isn't it? And then the one thing that sticks out. That worked.
Oh yeah,
Everybody talks about the thing that worked.
overnight success, bro.
Yeah. Oh yeah, there's lots of mistakes. I mean, I could. My first part. I mean, I remember I was telling the story to somebody the other day. I don't know who was it on a maybe it was to Tats and Konzo on an Insta thing that we were doing, and I was talking about I started this business in Cape Town where I used to live at. I used to live in Observatory, in Cape Town on Scott Road. I moved to Irwell Road later, but on Scott Road we had this business where we were gonna be like an internet sensation. I had this business where my idea was to do this thing on campuses where I did these information terminals. It was called iTerminal. Yeah, I thought it was so cool. Had an I as the logo.
What year are we talking here?
It was like we're talking late 90s. Late 90s. I just dropped out of UCT, but I was sort of in the UCT when I came up with the shit. And then and the whole thing was we were gonna put all these sort of electric billboards and they were gonna have content, and then they were gonna have content like music videos and stuff, but also information for students. Like, you wanna buy a bed, you wanna live to Joburg, you want this, stuff that students dig, but it will be cool, and then eventually it'll become interactive as the internet catches on. And then in this house,
very progressive
we had that was my one business, and then and then another dude in the house had like he was gonna be like this server. He was gonna be like an internet service provider dude. And then we had a warehouse, and then the warehouse was just like this interesting space. And then another dude just brought like a bag of the cheapest weed in the world, right? Because for him, he had just moved from Joburg, so his $600 or whatever that he used, he got like this black bag full of chat,
nice.
And that was his plan. If you guys do that, I at least put food on the table with his chat. And then things didn't work out like that.
Sometimes the noble path is the wrong path.
Oh man. And because then one of the dudes, I mean, we were also poor kids. At least I was a poor kid. That when I joined this crew,
Mm.
I had fallen on like tough times. I was cutting lawn in the back house. I was actually like, I was impressed that cutting lawn was $100. You get 100 crispy notes for doing. I don't know, maybe because maybe my qualifications as a university dropout, I was on a regular lawn cutter. They gave me 100. And then I saw these guys and they said, "Hey, you want a place to stay?" I was like losing my place, so I gave them the $100 for groceries, and then the rest is history. Then but anyway, that time with this guy, we got a DigiNet line into this house. I don't know if you know, it was long before fiber or whatever. There were these things called DigiNet
DigiNet.
lines. It was the fastest, yeah, it was the fastest line you could get, and it cost 22,000 rand a month. These are people who, I mean, our rent wasn't anywhere there, but this guy, that one of the kids who came to, he liked our thing. The one guy, he was like a rich kid, but he liked our thing, because we had like show ideas, we had these crazy ideas, we smoked a lot of weed. So he was like, "Cool, I'm gonna tell my dad about you guys." Dad said, "Great, I love it when black guys come together. Cool, here's DigiNet line for 22 grand, for 22 grand a month." And then, well, we obviously the ISP never got up the ground, but the thing was costing us 22 grand every month, and we were
Fuck.
using, it was the biggest music collection this side of the equator I can imagine, because Napster coincided with this 22,000 rand
Uh-huh.
line, weed, and foreigners who were visiting um, uh, observatory, then that's what happens. You come to a house, you smoke cheap weed, you listen to music that you it's like the greatest jukebox ever, like we have now, but back then it was unthought of that you could think of a song from your home country.
Mm.
Tranquilo, tranquilo, you have this, and then we play, and then they lose their minds. It was just another time. Anyway, yeah, that's yeah. I actually have a bit of trauma remembering that, because I had to, after moving from Scott Road to Irwell Road, which is a very nice house. I couldn't pay rent with this. We had like a similar situation, but the
Hmm.
people there that we lived with, that it was a digs, and still continuing the same narrative. But this time I had a show. I had a show idea, the Pure Manati show, and that was gonna hit. That was
Dude,
gonna hit. I thought it was gonna happen tomorrow, but it took 4 years. Those kind of things.
I know those
Um,
things
uh,
very well. But fuck.
yeah. So
But
yeah.
we'll
So
get
that was what we
Puminati.
were busy
We'll
with.
get onto that. That was such a beast. But in those, so
Yeah, that was great. I mean, that changed the story.
you
Yeah,
were
that
obviously
changed the story.
were an entrepreneur already then. All that shit. You obviously were like hustling and making your way and trying to figure out how to build a business. That was obviously where you were
That
at
was it.
already.
Yeah,
So what
yeah,
was
that
the thing
was
you
it.
learned from that mistake? I mean,
Ooh, it was a lot of things. I mean, I still made the mistakes continued. Holy crap! But I guess the big thing about it was the risk and kind of sticking it out. It was the sticking it out part, like because we kind of believe with the thing with the I terminal thing, I got screwed by my business partner.
okay, well
I
that's not a
went to go
mistake. I
shoot
mean,
a
that's yeah.
Yeah, it was a big mistake because we were so young, and then he didn't have the patience for a certain thing. I went off to a I went off to a shoot an ad to go shoot an ad in the Karoo Vodacom. I don't know if you remember that. You ever go ad in the Karoo? I don't know how many gallons of water they used to get the steam train for all the takes. It was spectacular. I was like, wow, this is dope. I was an extra in the train in the Karoo. Um, uh, and um, uh, when I got back to Cape Town, the guy had done maneuvers, like,
Oh,
tried to tell the campuses that we are not basically doing,
oh.
we changed the company name and whatever. Just the weird maneuvers. But then I remembered this really beautiful lawyer that we went to once in our little business days with our business suits that had like shoulder pads, and then she was really cool. So I just remember that. I was like, "Do you know a lawyer? Do you have a lawyer?" I know this lady. And then I called her. I still had her card, and I was just traumatized because it was so much work to get to that point, And this guy just pulled it out from under my feet. So I called this lady, and she said, "Cool, come through on Monday." And my friend Tsepo Mokhale, at the time, he was also starting to stand up in Cape Town. He was He was also a UCT student, but I knew him sort of loosely. And then at this point, we were starting to be friends, and he was into stand up. So that was the thing, you know. And he worked for iAfrica.com. So we snuck into his office in the middle of the night, and we had my business partner's email address, you know, and logins and stuff. So we got in there and we had all these letters, all this incriminating stuff, and we printed all out. And then the next morning on Monday, I went to that lawyer, handed it in to her, and she said, "Ah, okay, you got a situation." It was, yeah, but so I won the case, but I didn't win the journey. You know those things of I decided screw this thing. I won, but my every comedy is much more fun. Everything is much easier this way, and I want to make the Pure Minati show one day, you know, and that became my little kind of obsession.
Getting fucked over is my middle name. I know all about it. Do you have
Really?
yeah. Do you do you have partners today?
Yeah. I got good partners. I
So
got really
how
good
did you
partners.
how did
So
you get over it? How did you get over having these partners and then trusting people again?
oh yeah, I mean it was that one partner, and then you kind of go. The thing is, I'm quite a collaborative guy, you know. So then I had another partner who was also like a mess. You're like, you know, good guy in a way, but a
Hmm.
mess in a lot of other ways. Just that because also we're kids, you know. We're like 25, 24. You know, I think the oldest at the time in my
Hmm.
mind was 26. When I was like, God damn, I'm a grown up, is when I hit 26 and all of these things had happened.
Hmm.
But that was also chaos. I ended up owing the taxman like millions of bucks after PMS, and
Fuck.
that guy was like nowhere to be found. He told me that he would. He kept on saying the taxman is my uncle. Don't worry, we'll speak to the taxman because he was like a connected guy. I was like, the taxman is like, what if the
That
taxman is a lady?
that's
Don't
really
worry, the taxman is
hilarious.
my uncle. Mm.
Amazing.
So that left me high and dry. But then the partners that I have now, so I mean, one of the partners that I have now is like my life partner. We
Hmm.
have like more than just the business together.
Hmm.
And then there were two other guys kind of that we started this business with about 10 years ago now.
Hmm.
And they one of them passed away a few years ago,
Oh.
a really like brilliant guy. And yeah, we soldier on, you know, there's kind of like a trust and a struggle. I mean, that 10 years was also a lot of struggle. There was another guy who started with us, but after 6, 8 months, he was like, "Yo, man, I need money. I need money to live. This is nonsense." We're like, "Yeah, we all need money. But you're starting a business, so you can't get a salary. But you guys must make a plan. Sell your cars so I can make a living." We're like, "No,
Hmm.
that's not how it works." And he left and got a really nice job, like a grand. I was like, "Wow, so that guy was a genius all the time." We squandered him. But yeah. So that's like one of those.
So before I get on to Puminati, I want to just stay on giant fuck ups in your 10-year career. You know, this industry is so wild. I mean, there barely is one. You have to kind of make it. You have to
Yeah,
build all the bits
yeah,
yourself.
yeah,
What do you think
yeah,
are
yeah, yeah.
the hardest
That's
lessons?
so true. That building, that thing though that you just said is that building everything yourself. I know you know David Kibuka. I
Very
mean,
well.
he went.
David was
Yeah,
my
when
tenant.
he moved to New York. Oh yeah, of course.
Yeah,
In Melville,
in Melville
at
before
the corner there.
my house got taken over by a Nigerian drug lord, and
Oh no.
eventually I had to get the house was repossessed because the drug lord would not leave my house and told me he knew where I lived.
Oh my God, that
Yeah.
is
Do you
bananas.
know? Can I
Yeah.
hold on
Anyway,
before you tell? I got to just tell
that
you
is bananas.
this will make sense to you. And this I'm not.
Yeah.
This is not slagging off anyone because I love this human being dearly. Therese Owen lived in that house.
No, of
She's
course.
she
I thought that she was the landlord actually at some point.
right. So she started dating a Nigerian drug dealer, and then the drug dealer tried to kill her. So she ran away from the
Oh
house,
no.
leaving him there, and the rest is history.
And then he was like, "Ah, look at this.
Yeah,
Oh my God, that is so crazy." No,
yeah,
I was driving past that house the other day, and I was like, I was saying to my partner Thames, remember Dave used to live in here,
yeah.
and I remember one night where he had like a lady who really was in love with him, and we went to that place, the baseline. She was into him hard, but they had never really done anything, and then she was really possessive, and there was a fight that the dude, I forget his name, one of the bar next to baseline. There was this little pub,
Was it
pubish thing
Rats?
that kind of
And
not rats up the road, up the road. I
Nuno's.
think it actually is. It's actually where baseline used to be, and then it changed into this place. I'm not
Right,
sure. Is
right.
it further up though? That's a baseline. Anyway, crazy guy. He drank a lot. At some point when I spoke to him, he was drinking his own pee because of purification things. He was going through a thing where he was drinking his own pee. Crazy motherfucker. Anyway, he had to sort out this fight. Dave and this other girl. I'm not gonna mention her name because I don't know what legal implications there. But they had this huge fight, and he said, "Okay, I've been through this. I've been through this." He brought like the most expensive bottle of whiskey onto the table, and he said, "Let's sort it out. Whiskey, we talk, we sort it out." And then he found out that they hadn't even kissed yet, and he was upset. He almost kicked the table over. What the fuck are you talking about? This is my fucking whiskey. What? It was just nuts, you know. Anyway, but
Oh,
yeah, the story was that David went to New York, and then he said, "You know what's cool about this place is you don't have to set up everything because everything is like hundreds of years old. There's
right.
like a thing, you know. There's the guy, the barber's the thing, the book place is there for 100 years, the theater school is there for 100 years, the improv class, the stand-up place, the awards shows, the this, the that. You know, it's like
Infrastructure, bro.
everything that we do here is the
But that's
infrastructure.
why
Yeah.
it's why South Africans do really well because we fucking have to learn to do everything. We don't rely
That
on
is true.
anyone. You when you go to it, you don't have to do any of that shit. But if you grow up doing it,
That's true.
yeah, it's interesting.
Mhm.
Yeah,
That's very true. That I think that is actually quite. I'm gonna put that down as the reason why we do well is because people go, "What is this? It's a road. It's a road. They're all over the place. You
yeah.
just put your car on it. Oh no, I don't know. I like to walk. I got my horse. We go through the bush. No, no, this way is cool. This is the internet. This is oh my god, yeah. In entertainment, I mean, and I think that this place is a mining place. You know, if you
Mm.
came for mining, great. But if you're trying to make like movies and music and all of that type of stuff, then you're digging from scratch.
Yeah,
Like,
you have
you
to build the industry to just do your own thing. Yeah.
know,
So
yeah.
so what in the 10 years since you've kind of put all this stuff together, what do you think of the brick walls that you've constantly hit onto and go like, shit, I've actually got to learn something big and move through this?
There was this other thing about where they told me to learn to die quickly. I think that's the thing that we always talk about now. You know, like sometimes you have a thing, like you really want to do it and you want to do it a certain way.
Yeah.
And then the one part, the business partner that died, his name is also John. He
Mm.
used to say, "Yo, you need to learn to die quickly, because then, but in video game speak, die quickly so
Like
you can
fail quickly.
respawn and do the thing. Yeah, fail quickly
Yeah,
so
yeah.
that you can then come up again and be like, yo, this is a new plan. And I think in that failure, you learn quickly, like, okay, I didn't survive that way. This way is better. So I think that's for me was the biggest lesson is that, even if you're not gonna kind of fail and give it up, you have to give up an idea in your head so that you can sort of be able to look back. And it's helped me to maybe be a better listener to alternatives. Because before I used to kind of be stuck in my own ways, be
Mm.
like, yo. And then people used to come. I mean, they do PMS, and then I'd say, let's do this other thing, and let's do this other thing. And then people would say, yo, remember, this is your thing. This is your idea. I think Dave said this to me once. This is your thing. Remember, I can also have my own idea that I also want people to help me out with. It can't just be also that just we always just following your idea and your thing. And yeah, we are doing it, but
Mm.
remember, it's your thing. It's not you. You've convinced us to come with you. It's not our thing the same way. So like, yeah, and you're like, that's a consideration. That's a thing to think about. Because otherwise, you can be like a bit of a megalomaniac.
Well, how did you get? I mean, it felt Pure Monarchy was so fucking out there. It felt like you had total creative freedom. Like it was like a sort of. It felt that way to like it was
Yeah,
impossible
it
that
was.
anyone
It
was
was
doing
actually.
that shit. How did you?
It was weird.
But there's been nothing
Yeah,
like
that's
it
funny.
before, and there's been nothing like it after. Like it felt like that was the sort of,
Yeah, yeah, it's true.
it reminds me very thingy of like, just of the story of, It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia in a way. Just like so fucking cool, so its own thing, untouchable. Don't fuck with it, and let it do its
Yeah,
thing. How did you get? How did you manage
yeah.
as a first thing out the gate?
I think it was luck. Because luck is also a big thing, right? Then let's not underestimate that. I mean, I guess it's like a lot of work, but then luck hits and you're like, phew. But what happened with that show is that they were trying to test out like late night television, late night like programming. So I don't know if they weren't paying attention because there's a disclaimer. The actual disclaimer of that show actually has a swear word in it. You know, it's
Yeah.
actually we were in a rush. We were so disorganized. It was we said we need to write the disclaimer, and David Carl said, "Okay, fine, fine, I'll write a disclaimer." And then he said all of this. This is not it. Don't take offense. There's like actual official things that you need to say. But then at the end, he said, "Askirili Joeziti." No, we don't. There was something. The word "fuck all" was part of the wording in there. We don't give fuck all about whatever. And then at the end, it said, "Askirili Joeziti, skararal Joetsa," which means we told you, then say we didn't tell you. But at the time, we're like, this guy's crazy. Yeah, yeah, we need something to put up. Yeah, put it. We'll use that thing, you know. And then only in the second season did somebody pick up that this thing had some offensive words in it
That's
and
so good.
so on. And yeah, and they were like, yeah, is this? And then the counter to that was that, yeah, but it's been going on for however long. The public is fine with, BCCSA complaints. It was like, yeah, yeah,
Mm.
this thing works. Nobody's complained before. I don't even know how we actually, because you would think that after that somebody would say,
All
yeah,
the
okay, we can't have it anymore. We continued having it. I was like,
mm.
okay, but yeah. Sorry, to answer your question, how the show came together was I was in stand up comedy club. When I left, when I started business with those guys back at UCT, that was the thing that made me leave. And I thought if I have these other things, these real businesses that can pay for things, then they'll afford me the ability to get my own sort of in living color type of show, in sort of a Monty Python type of show. And then as I was doing stand up, it was the first time I saw kind of people speaking truth to society. It was particularly about race as well. But then you would have like Koki Falco going on after Riyad Musa, after David Cow, after me, after Loiso Gola, who was 16 years old at the time. And then you kind of went, these people are talking. It was also rooms full of white people, Cape Town, 1990s, late 90s, early 2000s, well, pretty much late 90s. It was like just a whole bunch of white people hearing these different voices and these kind of weird, crazy, challenging ideas, And I was like, if we can have this in a comedy club and people can be so shaken, what if we do a sketch show like the ones that I really, really love on TV, and everybody can come and see this multicultural kind of cross thing that's just breaks all the rules. And there were all these crazy shows at the time. There was, I remember Bo Selector. It's proper
Bo
Bo
Selector,
Kelvin.
yeah, Bo
Um,
Selector.
yeah, yeah. And nothing was just ridiculous. You're like, what the hell is going? Things like South Park were pushing envelopes. In Living Color at the time, before, like it was before that. In Living Color happened while I was in high school, so it was just those types of things. And then all the stand up from America. So I thought if we can do sketches, these stand up bits that we do on stage, if we could do them as sketches and have this idea, this feel, but it was for like the whole nation,
Mm.
then what could happen? That could be so cool. I actually never really enjoyed the process until it was done, until years later when it's like done and everybody's like, "Wow, that was so genius!" But the whole time I was doing it was just stress because I had to kind of taken up. I insisted on being the production, and
Uh-huh.
I had never done. It was like, cool. I'm gonna be the production
This
house.
is
I'm
what we're
gonna be
talking about. This is
that's
the
gonna
South
be me.
African way. I'm just gonna do it
Mm.
all.
Yeah, exactly. So I mean, the oldest person, and also I had worked with Fed Joe just before that. I
Mm.
came to Joburg to work with. Basically, what brought me up to Joburg, I was doing the stand up was doing well. There was this lady. I actually wonder where she is now. Megan Chasink. Megan Chasink was my housemate. She had a dog that was all like, and my business partner that tried to screw me over. Megan Chasink was really cool, and then she saw me struggling with all of this business shit. You're a businessman. You're a shit businessman. I was, she said,
Are you a
but
shit
your shit is
businessman?
really good. It seems to be like, At the time I was, but now I've learned from being that shit businessman. I'm like, okay, cool. I think I'm a good businessman. I think I'm a really good, because I say that in writing rooms. I'm a businessman. When I'm late for things because I had meetings, I'm a businessman. That's nice. Um, so Megan said you need to go and go do the stand-up thing, because she had seen me do it on campus. You know how campuses can be. She's seen me do that, and she's like, that thing is blazing. Why don't you do that? Because it seems to give you this energy. So I went. I was like, okay, that's a thing. I mean, how many times do people say that to other people? Like, you need to do that because it gives you this. So I was like, cool. I then hooked up with the Cape Comedy Collective, and I started doing stand up, and I did like also. I mean, there's actually moments that I remember as like turning points. Where you like, I did this show, and then it's a show that people will come, like people, Capetonians and all sorts of people, businessmen will say, I remember that show. You were on a balcony, you were performing. It was like it
That's
was a
fucking
bling
awesome.
ass show. I remember. Yeah, I remember the show. It was like the blingest show I've ever been to. It was like one of those glitz and glam, everybody, famous people. Colin Moss was breaking through as a popular culture man, and he was there. I think he was the host of this
Fuck,
show. It
Colin
was like
Moss.
so like
Isn't he? He
yeah, like
lives in
in
LA
Cape
now, isn't
Town.
he? Trying being an actor.
I think he lives in New York. He lives in New
New
York.
York. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
I've seen him. I saw him on Black Mirror. I see him like pop up in things, like holding a
Mm-hmm.
gun or saying seducing a
Yeah,
lady.
yeah.
Being a businessman. Um, 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 uh, and there's a so yeah, that show, it's like a cool breakthrough. I bought a TV and a VCR. I didn't need a VCR at the time because I love movies. And then there was this in Rondebosch, Cape Town. There was the greatest video store of all time. They had the craziest, all the movies you can think of, like from Wong Kar Wai to like Japanese shit to like blazing stuff. And it was $4. I thought that maybe they were like money laundering or something. I mean, it was like a proper, like
Probably
an
was.
Indian little corner store. So I don't know what, but $4. I mean, and it was legendary for students, so it was
Mm.
great business. Um, uh, uh, so that's what I did. And then eventually the big turning point was when I went to do the 5FM comedy jam in Joburg. I
Mm.
got some guy to make me pants. They looked like pajama pants, but they were great. And I had a hat. I had a hat that I'd stolen from some wardrobe department at UCT, and everything was like secondhand apart from these like pajama pants. And I came to Joburg thinking I'm so stylish. I did the 5FM comedy jam. There were about 2,500 people in the crowd, biggest
Jeez.
crowd ever at the Centon Convention Center.
Wow.
My mom somehow sat next to Martin Jonas's mom, and they were like, when I met my mom after, she's like, "Oh, Martin Jonas's mom is also such a sweet lady." So I did this show. It was a mega show. It was great. Um, and I got to then I got on Fred Joe. Fred Joe said, "Cool, I'm in town, so I'll be a guest." And I remember pacing up and down in Melrose somewhere there, Koenig Avenue, because I had a house in my business plan.
Mm.
I was living in two cities, even though I could never ever afford to be in Joburg.
Because you're
But
a
I
businessman.
said to Tepa Makhaliku, I was a businessman. I bought a fridge. I paid for fridge and deposit. And then I never paid for anything until I had to come to Joburg to sleep in that place. And they was like, "Yo, bro, you still owe money?" I'm like, "Yeah, my situation. I'm a businessman." Um, but I did the show. I got I got a call. I got a call from Fed Joe said that, their researcher called and said, "Cool, what do we want to find out more about you, for the interview." And I said, "Cool, here's how it's gonna go. You're gonna ask me this question, and I'm gonna reply. I've got a punchline for that. So I just got them to set me up
Oh,
punchlines,
nice. That's
um,
very.
and then I got there with my nice hat. I remember that day like it was yesterday. But the night after the big comedy show, I went to a club called Trescalini. My Joburg friends took me to this place called Trescalini. It was like the sort of fancy in Norwood, really nice kind of black urban, like young black Joburgers, private school kids, UCT and vets and all of that. Very cool. I got to the door. The guy pushed me back. I wasn't on the list. Forget you, baby. Forget you. But I was still on a high. I just like rocked a 2,500 seater.
Mm,
It
mm.
was so, that in the city, Then the next day was my day on Fat Joe. They did exactly what they said they would. I delivered. It was crazy.
Wow.
My friends took me back to that place, and I remember at the door, people they were like Joburg celebrities, like Simunya presenters and everything, and they all were acting like we know each other for ages. I was like, oh wow, like how like sort of famous people in Joburg act like they don't say, hey, here's who I am or whatever. Everybody just acts like, hey, yeah, I know who you are. You must know who I am, and you don't want to ask because hey, that's
It's
famous
my
guy. That's
worst.
it. You just keep moving. Yeah, So that's what happened. I was like, oh wow, I'm just gonna walk in today, and then I moved back to Cape Town because I had my plan. I was making my TV show called The Pure Minati Show that
Mm.
was gonna happen any moment now. But every moment now, but it took 4 years. So I went back. At this point, a guy had given us money, 25,000 to shoot a pilot. So I got Shalto Copley and his partner Simon Hansen
Ah,
to do the pilot.
I didn't. Did
He
they?
had,
Oh, did they do
yeah.
the pilot for Permanati?
They shot one and a half sketch.
They're good
The
friends of
one sketch
mine.
that ended in the show. Yeah.
Those guys are
So Shal
fucking
and Sai,
sharp.
yeah. So
Yeah.
Shal and Sai did they shot the pilot. I was like grateful. They made me like an anime. They still had like dead time at the time and
Dead
atomic
Time.
VFX.
Jeez. Dead Time
Yeah.
was incredible.
Yeah. It was of course. So that's why I went to speak to them because I wanted a show that had that kind of hipness,
Uh,
and I could see. And so Donovan was a friend of mine at
Sholto's
university.
brother.
Shelter's little brother,
Yeah.
and another guy called Jean. So they like, and Don was always going, my butt does these things. My butt is crazy, and so those guys eventually ended up now helping me shoot one sketch, two sketches,
Mm.
and cutting and all of that. And then we kind of peddled it, but that kind of died. It was just like, that's not gonna work.
What
Um,
was
uh,
the sketch for the pilot?
it was Omo washing powder. Where this kid, it's probably right now it will be like it will be chased out of town, that kind of sketch
Uh huh.
because of its un-PC-ness and all of that. But it was a Omo washing powder. You know how Omo cleans, makes the whites whiter and everything, blah blah blah.
Uh,
But it was this guy who just basically come from robbing a house. But the mom is like this cute mom. My son Tapo, he does every time he comes home, he's so dirty and he's got blood everywhere and this knife. And then but every time I just take his clothes and I put them in the Omo and makes the whites whiter. It was like an ad, like an ad spoof. And then we pulled it off. So even from the pilot, it still made it into the show, which was really cool. But
cool.
and Jason Cope. So Jason Cope was there as well.
Right. Right.
He hustled hard with us, and then he had to go to
Cool.
London to go work as a painting guy. After hustling all that time, he basically was like, you know what, this shit is not working. I'm leaving. Then he went to London, and then he came back 2 years later, and season one had happened, and it was a hit and everything. And he was like, yo, man, that's and come like season two is coming. But it was just he was confused because he's like, oh shit, so you actually kept on. I was like, I could not keep on. So we had that show. I don't even remember the pilot. Sam Hendrickson paid for the pilot 25. He was David Cow's manager at the time. So and we basically nagged him. We badgered him until he paid. He just to keep us away from his office. He gave us a 25K. And I came to Joe. So I go back to Cape Town. I've just done the big show in Joburg. I've just done the Fat Joe on E. I'm the man in Cape Town. People can't believe I'm even here. You were in Joburg last night. We definitely yes, the magic of aeroplanes. You flew in an aeroplane. Holy crap, a businessman. So we go. So we so I'm chilling now. This is now the time where I can't pay rent in this house in Irwell. I've got this business thing. And they call me. I'm broke as fuck. They call and they're like, yo, we liked having you on this show. We're looking for somebody to come. Semi Saviti is leaving
Mm-hmm.
to go do other things. And we want somebody to take his position, a creative director type of character. I'm like, okay, I don't know why you ask me. I've got a show that I'm making. But I'll ask people around if they want to be a creative director of this hit show that you're making. But I have a show called the Pure Minute Show that I'm making. So sorry for you.
Wow.
Then I dropped the phone. See,
Wow.
yeah. And then I continued in my broken state. Like, bro, had to lie to people about rent, got chased out of the house, had to jump over fences, and then I was confused, had to go to Joburg. But luckily, they called again for a lesser job now to say, okay, look, Leo Manne, who was our sports guy, he's left the show. He's leaving. He's gonna go run Metro FM or whatever. Would you be interested in filling his position? And I was like, yeah, of course. I know everything about sports, and I did nothing. I knew nothing about sports. I mean, this guy was like a staunch Orlando Pirates supporter. He was like a cultural thing, on that show. So for me to come, I knew nothing. I knew nobody in the sports, like nobody. Novak Djokovic for me was the same as Lionel Messi. So what I did is I had to change. I had to change the way that segment was. I made it about general history shit. I'd be like, do you know where the saying "an eye for an eye" comes from, Joe? And then he'd say what? And then there'd be like this sporting anecdote from like ancient Greek, whatever. Like how soccer started was about like people actually used like the heads of the in the wars. So they take all the prisoners, they get beheaded, and then they use the head to play soccer with. And then I tell that story, and then I'd be like, oh yeah. And then in the fixtures, Orlando Pirates is playing next week. So instead of
That's
me going
smart,
on about
man.
how instead of going on about how the coach and this and how they're not getting, I didn't know that shit. So I just went, here's how soccer works, and listen to and here's what's gonna happen this week, and here's the scores from last week. Next week, Joe, see you next week. And then I convinced them to do these opening sketches. Me and David Cow. David Cow's like old friend from high school. Even we lived in the same building, so it was like we're working together now again. And he was always a year ahead of me. He became like a famous comedian a year ahead of me. Everything kind of like that kind of thing. So he came to Joburg. He was a little brown cow. He was living large, and then I came back. He hooked me up, and Joe was great. I remember Joe picked me up from the airport or from my house, and he said, "You're now coming into the eye of the storm." I'm like, what are you talking about? Who talks like that? And there was also Vuzatwala. Vuzatwala had like lines. You need to look into the eye of the tiger and hear me say, "You bitch, this ain't that kind of party." It's like, what the fuck is going on? Who speaks like that? Anyway, it was fun though. And then from there, we made these little sketches on the Fed Joe show. So the monologue, he'd have like his little Jay Leno monologue, but then we said before that thing of yours, can we make sketchy things? Like me and David will do clowny shit. We'll take a camera crew and we'll go make scenes. Like be it an interview. So if you got like a little bit of a story thing, we'll dramatize it. Make cool sketch things. And then those things were so good. They started getting into the news.
Yeah.
Like in the newspapers, people
Amazing.
going, yeah, this happened. And then we got I got a meeting. I said to Joe once, yeah, I want to make this show, like in living color type of thing, Saturday Night Live. And he said, no, those shows are too expensive. They'll never work, man. They'll never work. It's like, okay, let me forget. Bury that shit deep. Okay, he didn't say that, but I buried it deep. And then the SABC called. They found the proposal for this Pure Manata show thing from 4 years before or whenever. I mean, I still had the slip that was
Did they call
crumpled
you?
and saved. Yeah, so they called and they said, hey, we found the thing. We want to come through and talk about it. And then I went there and talked about it. And based on
That
those
shit
little
never
sketches that
happens,
we were
man.
doing, yeah, yeah. And they'd gotten a lady. They got a lady who kind of she'd been working for the BBC, Kamsila Naidu. Then she found it, but then they forgot about it again. And then Khomutso Matsunyane came to work there, and she found it proper, but then that coincided with all of the Spare Joe stuff that we were doing. It was now we were like a sort of a part of the culture.
Mm.
And then it made sense to come through. Let's talk about it. Ourselves. That's all. That's one thing. Allowing us to do it, but allowing also my business, my company, me having to do, me and my business partner at the time, Tumi Tsuguru, the guy whose uncle was the tax man. We basically made the budget. We made the budget. We were like, we made the budget. We sat there. We were like, yo, this is. We called people for like quotes, for quotations, for like how, because you had to get like everything in like 3 times.
Mm.
We
Mm.
did it all, and then the budget, and then the SABC budget has these things. If everything works out, it at the bottom it says true, 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 true. So we got it to say true. We got the amount. We handed it in. the lady, the production controller or whatever, money controller lady, is like old Afrikaans lady, looked at it. Sweet. She looked at us like we're in the principal's office. We waited. She
Because you were so
ticked it off
cheap.
and she said, it's good. Yeah, I mean, it was for us. It was like, okay, this is what's happening. I think it was like $4 million that
Oh,
first
that's
season.
nice.
I mean, it wasn't cheap. And then I mean, I didn't make any money. I ended up owing the taxman buckloads of vet money because I didn't know that vet had to be taken to. I was like, hey, but what about this extra cash? Let's pay that thing. Let's do this. Let's do. But what was cool was that after working at Fed Joe, I didn't have I didn't want to work with grown-ups because everybody wanted to go home after a certain time. So the big mistake. So to your question, how
Interesting.
did you have so much freedom? Is that we didn't want grown-ups. So John Barker ended up being the only grown-up, if you could call him that at
Come
the time
on.
as
That's
well.
not fair.
Yes. And then so John Barker was the only grown-up, and everybody else was kids from Avda, Sean Pretorius, myself, Zeno Peterson, the
Mm.
comics, all of us there,
Sounds
like,
like chaos.
Salah Saviti. It was chaos. Like, yeah, it was proper chaos. At some point, we went to Durban. We were invited by the city of Durban, and then we basically didn't know the limits. So we took everybody, like people that you don't take, like PAs and crew, like crew members that you're supposed to get in the next time. They paid for everybody to come there. And they put us at some fancy hotel. And I remember when we had left, and then they didn't tell us, but they threw us a big dinner, a gala dinner with the mayor um, uh, in the Ushaka Marine World, which had just opened. And they screened the Pure Manata show right there inside the Shark. The Sharks were coming, PMS was playing on one side,
Wow.
but they didn't tell us. Yeah, they didn't tell us the situation. When you'd say people, yeah, wait, there's a dinner. So we all rock up there. We in tracksuits. We fucking drunk. But we get there and it's the mayor. It's people in suits. We are just a mess. And also the booze, man. I remember the bill that came. And then when we got back to Joburg, it was in the papers. The DA wanted to know why this show had come. It was a whole thing with the DA wanting to know this irregular expenditure. And I
That's
remember
I
thinking,
mean, that's
wow,
beautiful.
whew, when you find out the numbers, though, when you're back at
Uh,
Joburg, you're like, oh, geez, we could have used that money better. Oh my
could have done
God, like
season
we were
2
just
and 3 with
idiots.
that.
Yeah, you know. But anyway, yeah. So that was PMS.
I got to ask you this, like, okay, so for all, Bantu Hour, just the name and everything about it, whatever, great. But the thing I have to ask you is about the most important part of that whole show, and that's Hugh. Tell me
The
about
human.
working with Hugh. I mean, that guy, I'm, I love that man.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, he's one of the best people I've ever met. Like, honestly, one of the best people I've ever met.
Tell me about meeting
It was
him.
shitty.
Tell me about getting
And
him
it,
in the
and it,
show. Tell me about anything.
yes, it was actually the show was pretty much his idea, really. He
What?
wanted. I met him years before at a thing. I met him a couple of times before we were actually friends. I met him at a. I met him. There was a meeting that my friend Levon took me to, and he was with Brahu and Mtuzeli Machova. You know the writer
Yeah, yeah,
Mtuzeli
yeah, yeah.
Machova, who I had studied at university. And then Hugh said, Hugh was there. He wanted to do movies, and we were talking about. I was just blown away by meeting you at the Michelangelo. I'm just like, yo, man, I'm way too dirty for this place, but cool. And so it was cool just hanging with you, and he tells cool stories. And I was just like, he left. Let me get another one.
Yeah.
Let me get me with ice. You gotta get ice. But yeah, he was. So he told all these stories. He wanted to make movies about history, the Manhattan Brothers. Every time he wants to tell a story from a period, he
It's
always
always the
brings up the
Manhattan
Manhattan
Brothers.
Brothers.
But
Yeah, it's
but
always. I
in
think.
his defense, man, and it's actually this is a project I'm working on currently. Our great South African
Yeah.
music stories have not been told. There are some
No, always. Yeah,
unbelievable
of course.
stories that I don't know why we can't just the man.
Yeah, no, of course. I mean, I saw they tried to tell the. I don't know. I mean, my medium is film, so those types of things tend to be like quite expensive. And the one of my failings has been those ones where you take people's lots of money and then you can't bring it back to them because people didn't go to the cinema. It's always terrible. Those opening weekends is horrible stuff. But yeah, so Hugh, cheers,
Cheers.
cheers. Thing. So yeah, so I meet Hugh at this thing. We're cool at the Michelangelo. He then I don't see him again, and then another lady is getting married. Fat Joe. Now I'm working with Fat Joe. Joe says, "Let's go to." It was Joe was gonna. It was one of the like Jackie Mutsipa's sister, Tamaria, I think it was. Who she was running YFM or something at the time, and she was marketing boss of YFM. So our Fat Joe was gonna be DJing there. So he said, quickly before we hit the strip club or wherever it is that he was taking me, let's just go get my brief and talk. And these were people who were his friends, exile people and so on. So while we were there, Hugh came to drop off a gift because he's like, yo, I can't be at the wedding tomorrow, and I've just come to bring love. And here's my gift, love, love, love. I meet you again, and it's like, this timer, so cool. Then I do late night news with Loiso Gola on ETV, on ENCA and all of that. And my sort of the boss of E side, Patrick Conroy runs the news channel, and then on E, Monday Twala ran the sort of channel. And he was at this point Hugh Maskela's son-in-law. And he said, cool, one of these days, he kind of was like almost he was beyond his wits. His father-in-law wants to do this thing, and I mean, maybe you guys want to talk. He's talking to HBO, he's talking to people, he's trying to make it like a show, like an SNL. I'm like, okay, fine, let's meet. And then we would meet with Hugh, like for weeks and days. We'd go and let's like today we're gonna meet. So there was Hugh, and then it turned out the guy whose idea it was Hugh's friend, Temba Villagas, who is actually we're on a WhatsApp group still with that same late night news group. Because he then came to late night news because we were like, how are we gonna keep Temba busy? Because he really wants to do this SNL thing. Him and Hugh have been talking about this thing since the 70s or some shit. Because Temba is like a mathematician type of guy. He was in Boston. He was the fundraiser for the ANC in America, in Boston, in Harvard. That's where he was based. So him and Hugh are deep, and basically he was like, this guy, he just really so we'd speak every day. We'd meet every time we meet, like 5 minutes, we talk about the show, and then for 2 hours, we would be just listening to you telling crazy stories, just nuts. And we would look forward to it. And I remember it used to even be about, and then he'd pay. He'd also get we'd eat wherever it is. If we're meeting at a hotel, he'd get the bill, and it'd always be like, yo, man, let's get the bill. No, I got this, Lediga. And then it went on forever and ever. I think for years, I made 2, 3 years, 4 years, where we just be meeting randomly because this show's gonna happen. But we also with Temba all the time because he's working on late night news, so he'd come to the writing room and all of that. But these meetings happen, and then I remember even one of these meetings, like after Hughes getting all of these bills, I was flying from Jamaica through Washington D.C. I bumped into Hugh at the airport. Barack Obama election time, everybody, and he was cursing out the people. If you don't vote for this man, I'm never coming back to your country again. And I'm like, you're antagonizing the
What a
waiters. You're
fucking
antagonizing these
legend.
people. Yeah, yeah. So cool. So Hugh, I remember then I'm like, yo, they call him on the loudspeaker to say your flight is leaving. So I go, no, cool, I'll get the bill because you always get those bills in Joburg and shit. Then having forgotten the context, and I'm in an airport in America, all of this shit. I remember I think I paid like 3-4 grand for just that moment. It was like, fuck, I should have waited for Joburg. Anyway, it was cool. Then months, weeks, whatever pass, then we get the SABC. The SABC calls. They say, could you make a sort of PMS again? PMS for SABC2. It's a family thing. I'm like, yeah, that's not PMS though. Like we can't, because it will be, imagine now people, if we made like PMS that didn't live up to people's idea of PMS, it would just be chaos,
Yeah.
And it's also the ingredients and circumstance that made PMS were very specific to,
Yeah.
you know,
It wasn't a
what.
family
Then
show.
they
That's what made it great.
yeah, and they also, yeah, exactly. That's
Yeah.
what contributed to it being like what it was. And so with this one, I was like, all right, we don't have that, but then we brought out this deck for the show with Hugh. It was very much about it's a show with me and Hugh, and we make comedy and music, and that's it, you know. And then and then cool, they're like, great, we love it, we love it. You got the show, you got the show. What the fuck do they mean we got the show? So we go, we tell Hugh.
So fun.
Hugh says, great, we're gonna meet. We're gonna meet one day. We're gonna meet. We're gonna meet. Yeah, we make it in the show. But there's all those celebrations of you got the show. You gotta make the show. Make the show. I go to Hugh. We go to Hugh's house. He says, great. I mean, congratulations. You got a show. Wow. But what the fuck is this show about? You know, we're like, yeah, good question. What is this fucking show? Like, yeah, look, let me give me a couple of days. Like, give me some time. I'll make a show. We'll think of something. We'll make a show. And then that was that show. You know, you make a show, you do rehearsals, and then he would go out, smoke a blunt, come back. Then he's not so sharp on the cues. You know, when we rehearse, it's great. Pop, 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 pop. And then we come back, and then now Hugh's just cursing, motherfucker, this, fucking that, and you just like, oh, jeez, because he's covering for
Rockstar, bro.
you know,
Rockstar from birth to death.
and,
that man,
dude. And then for the crowd, what was great was the audiences thinking, discovering, like young kids, younger ones, rediscovering you. Not that they were rediscovering it, because I was used to getting, you know, people want selfies and shit. And then one day I left my office with Hugh to walk. He had parked far, like, because he couldn't find the place. So as we walked out of the office, these little girls in school uniforms came screaming, "Ah!" And I thought, okay, here's my moment again to show Hugh that I resonate with these younger generations, and they're all just around you. And then he was like, everybody relax, for Christ's sake, relax. Took a picture with them, and he kept it moving. I was like, oh, my man. And then, like, every time with him, you know, the stories, Hugh, man, the magic of Hugh. And he told me this one story once. He said to me, it was the summer of 68. I had the #1 record. Fuck. It was the most miserable time of my life. I said, what? Tell me the story. One day, man. One day.
Grazing in the grass. What a year.
Know that story. That is story. Yeah, that time. Yeah. So then I was like, okay, fine. And then I was in the loo. This is probably long before we got that show. But then I was in the loo in Cape Town. Like, it's about to be 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. I'm buzzing. I don't know. Maybe I'm fucking been drinking this, or I took a joint. Somebody like drag off a joint. I don't know. I'm in the toilet now, making a poo. And then I'm like, hey, it's about to be New Year's here. So I sent him a text. Like, I was just like, it was the summer of 68. I had the #1 record. Fuck, it was the most miserable time of my life. And he just sent me like the biggest amount of emojis. He was like, you're one crazy motherfucker. And and it was like such a, every time, and it was always like, where you go, you know, when you get like a guy and you're like, hey man, he's like your boy, you know, those kind of guys. And then for me, it was always like a mind fuck, because it's like this guy who's in his 70s, but he's got like the hippest spirit that you'll ever come across. You know, and then as much as he's your boy, he knows everybody in town. He's like everybody's boy, the same way, you know.
If you're interested, you must check this out. He did a radio show on my station, The Eye, and it was I don't know if you saw that 74 Zaire album that he brought out.
Oh yeah.
So he tells the story. I mean, it's the craziest stories that man can tell. You know about meeting Miles Davis, all that shit. But the story of the 74 Zaire thing, which is insane, and this was something I never knew, and I'm so glad we have it on record, is that it was his idea to do the Rumble in the Jungle, the Muhammad Ali thing, right? And and they recorded the entire concert. Like, they put a recording studio on the stage, and then Don King said, cool, let's do this thing. And then after the recording, because it was massive success, Don King came and fucked them out of all their rights. So they basically went to war over the music rights for 25 years. And only released it like 2 years ago, right before he passed away. He released that album. I mean, the man was
That's crazy, because in the documentary, the Rumble in the Jungle, that you see, they touch on Hugh basically being the kind of brainchild, that being Hugh's brainchild.
Mm.
But then you kind of go, and then he tells
There's
you
more
these
to
stories
this.
where you go, man, yeah, where you go like, this is nuts, man. This is with even with his fella stories where you went to Lagos and it's like, and he tells the detail, and then you next time you meet with him, there's another big story with
Mm.
deep detail. And at his funeral, the president of Ghana was there, and the guy also crazy story. He's like, where he's like, because he was deep. They were deep. Him,
Mm.
fella, and Hugh. It's like, whoa. The way he said that he met them.
Mm.
Him and fella used to be together. Were nuts. And then he said the way he said it, they were exhilarating company. And he said everywhere that
Wow.
every bar in the world he'd get in, and they'd find each other. They'd find each other. And he told the story that one time they were on the Horn of Africa where they had like Europe on the one side, the Indian Ocean. It's like they're like in this crazy kind of point of the world, and they were jamming. Hugh and Fela were just jamming
Oh my
nuts for
Jesus! Can you
hours
fucking
into the
imagine that?
night. People surrounding them and the fucking just high jamming for like hours into the morning. It was unbelievable stuff.
I don't know. Not relevant, but relevant. I went to the. I was very lucky to be invited to the launch of this album he just did. It was a posthumous album with him and Tony Allen,
Oh yeah, I
which
listened to that one the other day.
fuck. It was. I mean, jeez, to the end, that man was still the king. Like
Yeah,
absolute, an artist,
yeah,
a true
nice.
amazing.
It was
Um,
nice, yeah. It was nice.
Queen Sono,
It
man.
was really dope.
I've got no words for how you managed to pull that off. And um,
Oh Jesus.
no, I
Oh, that
mean,
thing.
I'm the worst. I'm the worst when it comes. I'm like so critical of what everyone does because I'm jealous of what anyone else does.
Yeah, I'm the same. I'm the same like that.
But that was
I
just
watch like this, and then I come in. It was good, obviously. You're like, okay, okay.
yeah. I'm
A
always like that
businessman.
guy fucking got
Okay.
that opportunity. I swear I could have done it better. But when I saw Queens, I was like, this is a master at work. And I've also, to be fair, and I don't mean this in a rude way, um, you fucking did a lot of stuff building up to that, and some total garbage. You just tried everything, did everything, went everywhere, never said
Yeah.
no, put things together, and then when I saw Queen Sono, I was like, now I understand the process of all of this shit was building to this thing. I mean, it really fucking not. It blew me away that you did it. It blew me away that you put it together. It blew me away that the pieces looked good on paper, and it was like, okay, I know what's going to happen here. It's going to be, oh, Pearl Tusi, all these people, but then the show is going to be just like all these famous. It was so fucking
Yeah.
world class. Um, just really completely in awe of where you are, what you've
Well,
done,
thanks.
and great
You give me
respect.
goosebumps here.
But tell me a little bit
Yeah.
about how you put that together. And I'm supposed to ask you something about. I'll ask you when we get there. But just give me the jigsaw pieces.
There's, I think it was helped by we had made Catching Feelings, which did really well on that platform, which was really because it when Catching Feelings came out in South Africa at the cinema, it came out at the same time as Black Panther. So it was one of those gutting, where it like gut wrenching
Mm,
fucking
mm.
moments where you look at the numbers every day. You look at the numbers, it's just not working because you're just like, oh man, this next week is gonna be better. And then you hear that Stay Chemical who didn't even know, like, you're like, what kind of morons are these? They didn't even know that Black Panther was gonna be a thing. So they
Yeah,
made such a lot of money that
yeah.
they decided, oh geez, maybe we should spend some of it on marketing. So then it's week 4 when we were like, okay, maybe now the people have seen this thing, they'll come watch our movie. Uh, Stay Chemical dropped another $5 million on marketing onto that movie. Like,
Mm.
that's like the same amount of money as we had to make the whole thing. Anyway, when
Wow.
it got when it got onto Netflix, it did really well around the world. And I think when we met Netflix through chance as well. Now you think, okay, so you made that movie, now you have them on like speed dial. No, we and it was great because we were in Hong Kong. They called us to tell us the numbers. Wow, your movie did so well, blah blah blah. And you're like, yeah, but we also have this TV show that I don't do. I'm not the TV people. But if you have a movie, when you got a movie, call me.
Yeah, they're notoriously
And
impossible to get hold of. They're they're
yeah,
invisible. The Netflix are
yeah,
invisible.
you know.
Yeah.
That's exactly, yeah. That's how they like it. So anyway, we then, but through a friend, through in a one this we had a screening of Netflix. I mean, of Catching Feelings in New York City, and the woman who manages Loy, who used to, Mick Perrin Worldwide. They represent like, well, they promoters and they do things for Jimmy Carr, Eddie Izzard, like Mick Perrin and Eddie Izzard basically kind of came together. It's like Red Queen and Johnny Clegg,
Right.
Um, so Natalie worked for McParren Worldwide. So when she came to New York, she was kind of doing things with Lloyd, like Lois Sogola, like hustling, manager style. And then they came to watch the film, and she loved the film so much. And she's like a lovely person. So we connected. She's like
Mm.
one of those people that are just so cool that we were like, cool. Then and then she was helping us out because she's like that kind of character who's like, hey, I do this type of thing, so I'll try help you guys into meetings and all of that. And as at some point we were about to get this really cool meeting that she could get us, and then she said, I can't get that anymore because it's conflict because I work for Netflix now. She's British. I work for Netflix now. Yeah. So she moved to Amsterdam working for Netflix. And then she told us one day that, hey, Netflix is coming to Johannesburg. We coming there. I'm not coming, but yeah, we're gonna come because it's exploration time. So
Mm.
we wanna come. I'm actually gonna come. I'll get you the meeting. So we got the first meeting almost, right? They left their hotel because they all fly business class so that when they land, they don't need a night or a day to catch up because everybody you've slept, now you land and it's like let's go. So that's how they roll. So we went to lunch, and then it was like basically like a whole complement of people. And then myself and Tamsin, we had. I actually was just chatting with Natalie the whole time while Tamsin was just doing the dance. We had this
Mm.
this deck on. It was like a cool deck, but it was like a show. The show was sort of more half-hour comedy-ish type of thing, and they were like, "Hmm, okay, interested, but a cool vibe, But also at the time, we were determined to make the show regardless of anybody. We were just like, cool, it's good to meet Netflix. Sure, we're gonna have great opportunities. What we're busy with right now is this show called Queen Sono. It's got this because Pearl came to our house after doing Catch and Feeding, and she had done these funky stunts on some Scorpion King 83. And it was like unbelievable shit that she'd done. When you look at this thing, this choreography, and even the stunt people were like, "Whoa, this girl's got some moves." So we showed them that as well. So I guess for them, they were like, "Okay, this girl looks quite interesting. That thing, the concept is dope. African women do what the hell?" So we left, but when we left that meeting, it was like, oh, what a cool meeting. We went there with the intention that we were gonna pay for everybody, and that was gonna be like our thing. It's our big lunch, but we were also brokish. We couldn't afford to kind of blow. In our head, it was gonna be like 5 grand. I remember when the bill came, it was about like 8 grand from all the wines and talks. It was a long table. And then Tamsin still wanted to pay, but then Netflix was like, no, 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 we'll pay with Netflix,
Fuck
and he's like,
them. They
no,
must
no,
pay.
hey, yeah, no, this is big multinational corporation. Let them pay, and then they paid, and then we had some Skype calls, meetings, Zooms, whatever you call them, or emails that they were interested, and then we got to developing that show. We got to developing that concept, and then now we're doing season 2,
How?
and I'll tell you,
Yeah.
yeah,
No, I was
I'll
just gonna.
tell you what's crazy is that the response and all of that type of thing, the kind of global thing, from this position on this, like with this same like picture behind me, I've seen some really powerful people across here on this screen. I was gonna go to LA like a month ago before COVID-19 hit the world. The plan was go to go to LA. You need to take advantage of the momentum. You know how it is with, while I am is hot, you guys got a stroke, kind of tickle, yeah. And then that was the thing. We are gonna go to LA. We are gonna be there for a month and a half or something. And then they said, and I remember the whole time trying to buy. Tamsin would say, "Buy ticket. We need to buy tickets. Tickets are gonna get expensive. Tickets are gonna get." I'm like, I don't know, but there's a virus though. This virus seems,
Mm.
it was like this virus because I was like this gut feeling about this virus because I guess I'm also a news junkie. So every day I'm reading like, oh, this place is being locked up. No, this people are dying. I was like, shit, like this thing is like a world thing, you know. And then we didn't book until the 26th of March when it was now officially. And on that day, that's when they also told us that the first day of lockdown is the first day they told us that we got season 2 as well, which is like quite crazy. But then since then, I've been sitting at this table meeting the biggest executives from all sorts of media companies, people in cool, famous dudes, you know, like where you're like, what? In the house, didn't have to spend the flight money? Wow. You know, so that's been interesting.
So has that impacted? Have you got surprises for season 2 now that your black book's gotten thicker, or are you sticking to your guns?
Oh no, I mean, yeah, I don't know. I think people there's also people wanna you get people wanting to be in the show, but not like it's talent, because it's like a certain type of show. So people come and they're very much impressed at what we pulled off. They're like, and then when you tell them the budget, because it's a lot of money for here, but for where they are, they're kind of blown away that we were able to do that for those types of amounts. So
Mm.
people are like, yo, let's talk. They want to talk about other things, which is great. But it was for me, it was like that kind of feat where you kind of go, let's it also felt like a lot of pressure because it was that World Cup thing because everybody's waiting to you and you're never gonna please everybody, but everybody's waiting to see the Africa and it has to represent everybody's aspirations, right? So when people come to it, and it's marketed as this is the show. So even if you're not into the genre, you're like, I must watch this thing,
Mm.
and then you either rooting for it or you're not or whatever, or you get the genre or you don't. But the thing was for us was just make it something that we like, something that we can stand by, and then it'll find an audience. So that's what we did.
And have you
Tried
managed?
to.
I think that's the question I'm asking. You're at the difficult second album now, where I know you've been to second seasons before, but there's a lot of pressure here because now suddenly you got a lot of invested people putting
Oh, it's
pressure on you.
exciting.
Yeah. So
Yeah,
have
it's
you?
exciting. I think season two is exciting. Yeah.
No, so have you?
You're about to ask.
I was going to ask. Have you managed to keep the making the show for yourself? Because that's got to be the
Yeah.
hardest thing in the position you're in. It's got to with all of the
Yeah.
temptations.
No, you know what it is well, season one was cool, but season one was also pressured because Netflix are taking a big gamble. So they're like, everybody like, what is it gonna be? What is it gonna be? And everybody, and it's also who you make it. The big thing was you need to make it. It needs to do well here on the ground first
Mm.
before it does well in the world. But then, as a decision that we took like a few years ago, we were like, "Yo, we want to make just Africa to the world, man." Like it's and it's also because remember the internet. They always told you that you are able to reach your bigger niche is the internet, right? You don't have to be like, "Hey, it's my Joburg." It's like the Joburg spirit in everybody. For
Yeah.
instance, like I feel like catching feelings captured the Joburg feeling in everybody across the world. People in like Indonesia, people in Brazil, people in New York City. They were like, and then there's a big number of people that have the Joburg spirit, even though they've never been to Joburg or anything like that. So for me, it's always like that's the thing. Make it for somebody. Don't
Mm.
make it for everybody.
Yeah.
Um, uh, so with Queen Sono, it was a little bit more challenging because you almost had to make it for everybody. So we had to kind of resist that temptation because it was like it needs to work as a South African thing. It has to be like a great thing for South Africans to watch, Africans, but it has to work in the world. And we were like, okay. And there was a kind of like balance that we had to get through.
Mm.
But I feel like eventually, when you see the kind of response on social media, the people who get it or people who like it were kind of like specifically the type of people that we wanted to get. I feel like it's a smarter show than we. I mean, I think it's sold in a way as like this mainstream crazy thing, which is cool. But I feel like it's quite smart,
Mm.
And I think sometimes people come to it and they go, "Yeah, this is what they expect to see Pearl maybe twerking or doing some sort of popular shit." But then there's like a lot of talking, and then they're mooring each other, and then that's because I saw somebody because somebody like critiquing it, and they said, "What the fuck is going on with this show? 1 minute we're in Zanzibar, then Jiggy Jiggy we're in Johannesburg." I don't know. I don't know how to reply to that. What am I gonna say? What am I gonna say? like how do I remedy that problem for that guy, So you go, am I gonna make a show for every? Then you go, do I want that guy to like the show, or do I want the people that like this type of show to like the show? And so that became the big sort of thing, the tightrope walk. I think actually, I like the day when the lady from Time magazine called, because it's like, who's
Fuck.
gonna get this? So the
Who's
lady from
calling
Time
you,
magazine
bro?
called,
Who
and
are
then
these people calling you?
like a Time magazine lady, she got, because also it's like crazy because when I first moved to Joburg, I was fucking blown away by getting called by the Sowetan. When the Sowetan called, I lost my fucking mind. Those time, the Sunday Times, but then the Time magazine lady called, and then she was calling. In my head, I was like, oh shit, what am I gonna say? What am I? And then she was telling me about the show. She was loving shit about the show. Oh my god! And then this happened. And then this represents this. And then so I was like, oh shit, yeah, somebody gets it. So
Hmm.
because we took a leap, we take a leap all the time, and the stress from Netflix themselves kind of going, want to you want to give it a chance because it is like the first African show. So when it goes out there, it's
It's
also
representing.
Netflix's brand.
Yeah.
It's so yeah. So when this woman called and she was like getting the show, my low self esteem as a South African, I was just, so you get it, you understand the show, oh my god. And then like, yo, man, you fucking made the show. What are you talking about? I watched all 6 episodes. I'm fucking loving it. And she's talking about the characters, this and that. I was like, oh shit, yeah, okay. We're making a show for the world, and people are watching the show, and they're like, okay, cool. This is what the show is, and they're getting it. And then you get like the bad review, and then you'll be like, oh Jesus, that's a guy. Like the New York Times wrote this other one where you're like, fuck you and your mother, New York Times. But then you're like, yeah, but it's a show. That's
Did they
like
get
what
so
happens
so
when you
did
make
just
these types
as
of.
you roll through that, New York Times gave you a bad review? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah. It was really shit. They were like, what the hell is
That's
this?
awesome.
Must be. Yeah, it was
That's
just
one of
like
the
those type
coolest
of
things
things.
that could
And
ever
then,
happen.
yeah, what are you gonna do? And but then you get like, yeah. So there's like all these places and from all over the world, people getting it. For me, it was the thing where people got it.
Mm.
Like where there was, because it's like a layered thing. Like South Africans will watch and they'll see something about Chris Hani and all of that, which were cool references that we would use, the
Mm.
Chris Hani things, Winnie Mandela things, and all of that. Africans will see certain things about government corruption, blah blah. Then the wider you go, then the people will just be like, it's just a sketch. It's like a spy show. It's just a spy show,
Mm.
generic spy show. Oh wow, it's a show that it showcases Africa in a different way. Blah blah blah. It was such an interesting thing to experience because I was like watching French news and they were like these two women were like debating, the reviewer lady and the newsreader. The newsreader liked the show, but the reviewer was like, I don't know, it is too convoluted. And then the other lady was like, I don't know, I thought it was cool. And then, but no, not enough. Hey, we need to go into the next segment now. I was like, hey, that's the show. We made that show. That's not crazy. So that was cool. And then, but like it's crazy because soon as that was like a month ago or so, month and a half. Now, wow, we are so used to that now. It's like, geez, I guess we need, now demands are being made. We need more extra. It's like crazy how the mind also forgets that just last week you were just, your option was Sowetan and all of that. But I guess it's also part of the kind of move, the kind of project progression. I don't know. But it's like one of those things where you kind of go, 1 minute you're here, next minute it's a show of the world, and you get people. Like, did you see this thing where Common and Tiffany Haddish were out of it? It was Bumble. It's like a dating app, and they're on this dating app, but like in different houses, because it's COVID-19. And then they do this, and we're gonna dance, and we're gonna do hair, and let's watch a show. What are we gonna watch? Netflix, Queen Sono. Yeah, let's watch Queen Sono. And then they watch Queen Sono, and it's like on this day. You're like, whoa,
That
that's
is
Common
crazy.
and Tiffany Haddish watching Queen Sono,
Wow.
and and then there's still, and then in the scale of things, because then you don't know. It's like how deep in the water are you? What is this impact of the thing? You still don't know because we live in Joburg. You're not like walking around. It's not like Pearl is in New York and people are going Queen Sono. So
Mm.
she has an idea. Oh shit, she's Queen Sono on the street. We're all in our houses as well. So it's all like it could be a dream. I could wake up and then I see what's his name, Leonardo DiCaprio running off with Joseph Gordon-Levitt after having made this dream in my head.
Inception. Fuck, bro. Well,
Mm.
seriously, bigger. I mean, it really is a piece of important culture. It's so fucking good. I feel so proud of it. I just really got all your whole
I'm
journey.
glad when you sent me that text. You sent me that text, and I mean, I know you to be like quite a high artist and a critical type of guy. You know, you like the people that I know in South Africa. I'm like, that guy's critical. That guy's not easy to impress. So when you sent me that text, I almost shed a tear because I was like, geez, okay, you know. And a couple of those things happened. Like 3 or 4 people like that
It's
sent me a text to say that. Wow, that was such a cool thing. And I was like, whoa, that was a moment. Thanks.
but I mean, it's a testament to person. You just fucking. I mean, I'm really really honored to even be chatting to you right now. You're in that transcendent bubble now. You know, you've done it. You've done the impossible. It's incredible. It really is incredible, and I'm just super chuffed for you.
Well, yeah, we'll keep hustling. We'll keep hustling, sir. We'll keep hustling.
Mm.
Hmm.
Before I let you go, and this is not intending to be antagonistic, and I don't know your world. I don't know it, but I just wanted to ask you. I've heard rumors and stuff, and if you don't want to talk about this, totally cool. It's not a cool thing to talk about.
I do
But
not beat women.
say again.
Yeah,
Well, not anymore. But
I hope it's not about beating women.
no,
Yeah,
it's about Trevor. What are your thoughts on Trevor?
terrible.
Because
Oh, Trevor's.
I've heard I've heard there was some issues or something. I don't really know any of the shit. I'm just interested to know what you think
Oh
about
yeah, I
Trevor.
mean, no. I mean, yeah, no. I mean, Trevor's like a trailblazer. I mean, he's always be. It's like a crazy guy. He said things, like when a guy says, well, "Next time you see me, guys, I'm gonna be on Ellen," and we're like, "Jesus, this fucking guy." And then next time you saw him was on Ellen. It's crazy. But he also kind of has some you could say slightly ruthless kind of streak because he kind of goes. I wouldn't say it's like ruthless, but it's like single-mindedness,
Mm.
and that I feel like along the way you can upset people. I mean, with me and him, I had like like a gripe because we were making a show, and then he kind of I felt like he didn't stick to his end of the deal, and he felt I didn't stick out to my end of the deal. I think from what I hear, and then he I just got very upset. I was
Mm.
just like fucking upset. I remember seeing him at a place, and then I said, I thought about you the other day, and I wanted to smash your face in with a wooden bat. It's like, and my friend, and I was with David Kivuka, who's like a very good friend of Trevor, like probably his best friend, and another friend Peg, and Peg was like, "Why are you bullying the kid?" But I had a whiskey, and I wanted to get that shit out of my fucking system, and and I meant it at the time. But no, I said, but when I see you, I feel like, yo, you're such a lovely guy. You must come join us. And then he shook his head like, I mean, obviously I led with, I'll smash your face into the back. But we were very close at the time.
Mm.
He was like a very cool guy who come to my house a lot and so on. Cool guy. And then like at then time also, you kind of go, but that was silly. We like, those are like gripes about shows from Urban Brew Studios, let that shit go. And he's done really well for everybody. Like the Daily Show inserts with Loiso Madinga, we were
Mm.
producing those. He
He's
called and said, "Yo, you guys want to do this type of thing?" So yeah, it's and I mean, I think also he's like another stratosphere of artists now. I mean, like the last time I saw him on the internet, he was playing tennis, the biggest tennis game ever in the history of the world,
in Cape
with
Town.
like one of the yeah, with the richest man in the world and the
Yeah.
greatest tennis players. I was just like, what the hell? You know what I mean?
Do you feel
So it's just like,
at all how do you feel at all jealous or anything that seemed to leapfrog? He just came out of nowhere, shortcut all this shit, and was suddenly like,
I, but I tell you one thing though about that, guys. I remember in the comedy clubs,
hmm,
we'd see him. I remember there was a place. I forget what it was called. There was a guy called Grant who owned this place in Bryanston somewhere. It was like a little dingy sort of bar place, like where comedy would happen. And it was a particularly tough night for me. I think I had a lot of tough nights in these comedy worlds. Um, uh, Trevor was always killing it, you know, and audiences would love to see him. But on this night, he was particularly on fire because then he started riffing and then he did this musical, like American style musical thing, but about taxis and taxi drivers. But he was just ripping on the spot, you know. And I was like, man, that's the that's that's the real deal. Like for me, I was just like, God damn, because all the time in stand up, I mean, I've seen a lot of stand up comedians, and like technically, like for the longest time, Riyad Musa was always the guy that I thought, oh, this guy, I'm gonna see him on Jay Leno and Letterman and shit, you know. And that day, and then Trevor kind of very consistent, and then he do all this crazy. But that day, I was like, whoa, he thought to do that. He's cool like that, and I was just so impressed. But it was a small moment where I thought, but for me, it was a switch, and I was like, geez, this guy, there's a lot here, there's a lot here.
Mm.
And yeah, and he kind of jumped off to go do those types of things. And yeah, I mean, you've seen, he's like, I think this year he's like the highest, the third or second biggest comedian on planet Earth in terms of earnings. So it's like stratospheric kind of level, and it's like Dave, like he lived with Dave now for the past 4 years. They live in the same building. I mean, when you visit Dave, he's like the EP of the Daily Show. This is like one of the
Is he?
guys, like
Fuck.
yeah, like yeah, Dave is like so anybody
Do
who
you think
looks
I could
after
get my
Dave
rent now?
freaking out is good with me. Yeah, give him a course. Say, yo, about that rent. He'll be like, what do you? It's like the worst thing is driving with Dave in Joburg. Like when he's just flown in for whatever those 2 weeks that he comes down here for, and then with the beggars, and because he's giving them like these 100 Rand notes, but then they think when you come back next week, but you're not with Dave,
Ah,
they know I'm not gonna give you a hundred
oh, so he's
bucks.
setting
That's
you up.
because for him it's like $1. Yeah, but for him it's like $1 or whatever it is. It's $5. When you're in America and a person that says, "Can you give me money?" You give him $5, $1, and it's like that's. Whereas here it's
Two
always
rand.
$5, $10. You know what I mean? It's just like it doesn't equate. And then it always got me thinking, like, if I can give a guy there $50, I guess he's also got a higher standard of
Mm.
living. He's got to pay for a lot more in those. But yeah, so he gives you those kind of theories of his, and you go, yeah, this is great. I mean, for Dave is one of the most important people in global satire, thanks to Trevor, and vice versa. And I think Trevor is also thanks to Dave. So it's it's one of the. I'm not gonna now. I'm gonna be griping about some shitty show on Urban Brew from Urban Brew. That would be like, jeez, no.
Fucking urban brew. Those were the days.
Mm.
Cookie,
Yeah,
so
that's the vibe. Yeah.
bro, it's been an absolute honor speaking to you. Thank you for your time. Um, I've loved every second of it,
Yeah,
man.
thanks for having me.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was fun. I think it's like, yeah, great. This is risky. Must do a multi one where there's like three guests in their houses, and then there's like
Well,
everybody having
this is how the show used to be. So, but in the old days, when people were allowed to be in the same room, um, it would be there'd be quite a lot of hard drinking. And I'll be honest, 3 times I've actually brought the person to tears. There's been like crying going on, and there's something really nice
Oh
about it
damn.
because people, as you drink, you start to tell more of the stories that you're not so sure you were so into at the beginning. Um, but yeah, it's super fun, super fun. But and great to
Yeah,
have
this is
you on.
great. This is awesome.
And then
Yeah, thank you so much.
last thing, like obviously this is just a conversation. I've got no questions planned. I just wanted. Are you do you consider yourself now like moving forward? Are you completely in director mode? Are you in stand up mode? If you got a Tonight Show type of opportunity, is that on your radar of something you want to do? What do you want to be? Where do
Oh
you want to
no,
do?
I'm a storyteller, man.
Yeah.
I love the movies though, because I actually have this question a lot to my before COVID-19. This month was also I was meant to go to the. You know how Casper Nyovest fills up the dome or the stadiums and whatever? I
Yes.
was gonna fill up the box 7 times or 6 times. You know the box in Mabaneng, the
Yes.
little what do they call that little theater? That
Yeah.
little
Yeah.
the 40-seater. And I've been writing, so I wanted to try out these bits, and I was gonna make the price go up every day because the show would be getting better every day. Because the first day would be shit because
That's
it's
funny.
like a guy who was making Queen Sono, and then the second day would be the guy who at least had a day of stand up,
Uh,
and then third day would be
nice.
and then by the time you get to the final day, you have like this show that you're building, and then I'd have more confidence to go to the street. So I love stand up, and I also kind of what's cool is it's maybe divorcing it from the money because I feel like I've got these like grand ambitions to make these movies and TV shows, and that's what I work at most of the time.
Mm.
And then I've got like, but I've got this thing of like I'm a comedian, and it's like the type of thing. It would be horrible for me to kind of be on my deathbed and be like, oh shit, I didn't do fucking stand up for 40 years, 30 years. That's if I didn't do stand up. That's if I lived for that long. I'm touch wood, and so I want to be a stand. I want to do because stand up is like it's a craft in that way, and it doesn't take. All it needs is you to stand in front of a crowd and tell these people jokes, and then the more you do it, the better you get. You know,
Mm.
until you go, oh wow, this is where it brought me. And there's like comics that insist on doing small rooms, even as you know, even as like the most like important comedians, um, uh, where you kind of go, this guy does 100, 400 seater, and that's it. You're never gonna see him in an arena, and those shows are sold out fucking years in advance, months in advance, and he does his run, and that's it. And then you get the Chappelle type of shows who do these theaters and huge fucking things. You get the Kevin Harts, you know, the Trevor Noahs who do these big arenas, but it's like different. But they all, and then you get the guy who goes to the comedy club and he
Mm.
kills every night, you know, either welcoming people on stage as the host or doing his spot and being the legend of the town. So it's like one of those things, you know. So I'd like to be able to what I don't want, what kind of I decided I don't want to do lineup shows so much because I feel like because I haven't been on stage for a while, if I go into a comedy club, then I have to conform because I want to try new material. So what I'm scared of doing is if I go into a comedy club and people are doing their lineup shows and they're doing their styles, I'm gonna be forced to kind of go to what
You
works,
go to
what
your
I
old
know
stuff
works,
so that
and
because you
then
don't feel confident enough
yeah,
to try something.
yeah, yeah, then I'm stuck. Whereas if I go to this thing and then people come to me because they're like, now these are like people, if they're gonna come to the box, I mean, there'll be 15 of them in a
Yeah.
40 seater,
And you'll be
but
like,
they're
I
like
made the tickets
diehards.
cheap, so fucking deal with it.
Yeah, yeah. There you go, you know. And then so you can do but then by day 7 or day 8, then I got my set. I know what works. Then I can go to the clubs and start honing those things and then start working the show. But to work a show, that'll take you 6 months
Mm.
of like diligent work to a year. Who's got that time now when you're making a movie or TV show or whatever? So it's like this it's crazy, you know, like but maybe somehow you manage to run into the club in the middle of all of this. I don't know. But we'll see. We'll figure it out. This is
Nice.
the time to meditate upon those things. I don't know. But I can't not do stand up. That would be terrible. I'd be very sad. And it's the more you don't do it, the shit you get. You really shit. You know. I imagine I'd be very shit. Oh, lucky. I feel like first day I get there, I might be lucky, and people be like, "Wow, you still got it, man. You still got a businessman." And then I come back like then I come back like the next day all cocky because that's what stand up. You come back all cocky and it kicks you in the nuts, and then but you're hooked because you did that one that was great. Now you're hooked. Then you keep coming. You know, it's like
Fucking awesome, man. And then last,
yeah,
last thing. I keep on thinking that that's Bruce Lee and the picture over your left shoulder with the naked woman on it.
yeah.
What is this picture?
Oh, that's Bunny Chow, John Barker's
Oh,
opus.
of course. All right, now I see it.
Yeah.
I just keep.
Yeah, it's like my oldest poster. There's like all sorts of posters here, but that's the oldest one, and it's chipped. It was a special one
Oh,
from that time in those Terraplane days. It was
yes.
one that was from the Toronto Film Fest. The regular ones have all of these wreaths everywhere, good and shit festivals. But this one was, and the color was off when it printed. The color was a bit off. So
It's a
I want
collector's
everybody
item.
wanted it, but I got it. Well, yeah, now it's been block mounted, so I don't know. But yeah,
We didn't even
that was
touch on
another
Bunny
fucking
Chow,
story,
man.
another
Well, that
chapter.
was another legendary
Oh my
moment.
god, what a crazy fucking time. But anyway, next time.
Next time. Take care, Kakiso. What a
Thank you, dude. That was great.
great way to spend a Sunday evening.
Yeah, that was nice. That was yeah. That was it's actually good that we did it today and maybe not Friday because that was a chaotic day that day.
Shame.
But yeah, cheers.
Kids, bro.
Yeah,
You got to have them.
gotta have them. Yeah, say good. Say what's up to your family and have a great
Same
evening.
with you.
And thank you
Absolutely.
so much. Yeah,
Big honor. Thank you.
sharp dude.
Look forward to
Bye.
season 2, man. Wow.
Yeah. We in the writing room. We're grafting hard. We've been in this since like jam, So yeah, and you're never done. You can take. It's always like as much time as you can get. If they said you have a year, it'll still not be enough. So at some point, we just need to stop and hand in the scripts.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I'm glad you asked me
Cool.
to be in it, and the answer is I'm thinking about it. Take care.
All right, cool. The president of Poland, Jon Savage.
Love your work. Thank you. Take
Sweet.
care.
Cool, man. Shabbat.
Ciao. Bye.